We all know the rules and mechanics of regular Pokemon trainer battles. A 1v1 where trainers take turns to attack the other's Pokemon, and whoever has no Pokemon left standing loses. Add to that stats, Pokemon types, move types, advantages, disadvantages, abilities, items, and many other more variables. Easy fun for the entire family. However, as the new games kept being introduced, the Pokemon Company tried spicing up battles by giving us different types of battles. Yeah, what if there were 2 Pokemon? 3, 4, 5? And while some of these battles have endured the test of time, some have only shown up in their debut game. So let's revisit all the types of Pokemon trainer battles that there are. First we have the standard battle. And it's basically what I said in the intro. It's been the way we fought other trainers since 1996. Nothing really else to say. Our first real different type of battle are double battles. Introduced in Generation 3, it's when on both sides there are 2 active Pokemon at once guided by 1 trainer per side. This one is a very well known type of battle since they've appeared in every generation since. A fact that perhaps may be uncommon to know is that there are a plethora of moves that may have different targets, something you wouldn't notice on a regular Pokemon battle. You could target one foe, both your foes and an ally, everyone including you, only yourself, or your teammate, or both. Usually, you shouldn't have to work around these battles because they're so rare, but be careful when using certain moves in these battles. And what's better than a double battle? A triple battle, of course. Introduced predominantly in Pokemon White, they are conceptually double battles, but this time featuring 3. However, there's one little detail that changes the dynamic in the battle that makes it a completely different experience from double battles, which is the placement of your Pokemon. Because the Pokemon that are in the far left cannot hit the Pokemon in the far right and vice versa, meaning that a Pokemon in each side may only hit 2 foes, whereas the one in the middle is free to hit any. So even if you have super effective Pokemon against your foe, if they're placed in the incorrect spots, it can make the fight uglier than it should be. A good thing you can shift with the Pokemon in the middle. Since they're mostly only present in Generation 5 and 6, they're kind of rare to find nowadays. While it may seem like just an upgraded double battle, they were much more than that, and they were pretty fun. And what's better than a triple battle? Not a quadruple battle, but a rotation battle. With triple battles mostly debuting in Pokemon White, rotation battles come from Pokemon Black. And that's a neat concept, a type of battle debuting in different versions. Did you think I'd spend the video without gushing about Generation 5? If you look at a rotation battle, it may just look like a triple battle. Well, yes, but actually no. While both feature 6 Pokemon, 3 from each side, only one of them is allowed to attack and take hits per side. But, rotating Pokemon is a free action, meaning that if you switch with one of the active Pokemon, you won't lose a turn, which is a double-edged sword. While you can rotate to use a Pokemon that will be super effective against your foes, there's this slim chance that they choose to rotate another Pokemon in, so it kind of becomes like a mind game. Rotating your Pokemon also has the effect that it will not reset status conditions or reset abilities that act upon switching. This one is even more of a hassle than triple battles, and just like the former, they only really showed up in Generation 5 and 6, but they were a pretty cool way of fighting Pokemon in my opinion. The next type of battle is often confused with double battles, but it is not, at least according to the internet. Multi-battles. It's when it's 2 Pokemon versus 2, but each Pokemon is guided by a trainer. Debuting in Generation 3 and going all the way to the latest, multi-battles usually tend to be for story purposes. You don't really face any random trainers and routes with these type of battles. They definitely have the feel of double battles, but probably the worst thing about them is the fact that your teammate's AI always seems to want you to lose. So in some cases, it feels like a 1v2. Maybe it's just me with bad luck, but I've yet to have a multi-battle where the AI is not completely garbage trash, in my team at least. I guess that's why they're mostly known and competitive. Next we have a Battle Royale, and to those who are not familiar with this type of battle, it's not what you think. Debuting in Generation 7, it's essentially a 1v1v1v1, with each Pokemon being guided by a trainer. Trainers are allowed to bring up to 3 Pokemon, and the goal is to knock out as many Pokemon as they can, and you can attack any of the 3 opposing Pokemon. The battle ends the moment one of the trainers has run out of Pokemon, and the winner is determined by counting who has the most KO points in their pockets, plus the remaining Pokemon they have. This is a very interesting type of battle that I don't think we've seen again. And even in the games it does appear in, it is strictly in one area. I don't know, I kind of wish we had more fun and experimental type of Pokemon battles. Speaking of which, what if everything we know about Pokemon was inversed? Oh yeah, inversed battles. I had never heard of these type of battles up until today, and honestly, they feel like the most trippy thing ever. But I kinda want to give one a shot, not gonna lie. Essentially, all type matchups are inversed, and no type is immune to any types. So electric types can hit ground types, fighting types can hit ghost types, and fire is super effective against water. And like, half of the types are super effective with themselves. It genuinely seems like a lot of fun. It's a shame there's only 3 trainer battles scattered throughout the entirety of Generation 6 like this. But if you have the games and want to try them out, here's where you can find these battles. Last but not least for now, Sky Battles, and genuinely the reason I made this video. It essentially works as a normal Pokemon battle, except you may only use certain flying type Pokemon and certain Pokemon with the levitate ability. And yes, only certain flying types. Despite Pidgey being a flying type, because its sprite in the Generation 6 isn't flying, it is not eligible for a Sky Battle. And not only that, but there's also a plethora of moves that are also not allowed, mostly those related to the ground or touching the ground. Everything must stay fully in the sky. It's only really featured in Pokemon X and Y, but there's a bunch of Sky Battles all over Kalos. And honestly, I hope they make a comeback. They're such a niche thing, and considering we've had multiple flying type gym leaders, it would be kind of cool if one of them required Sky Battles in order to fight them. Cool concept, but perhaps difficult in execution. But I love these type of battles nonetheless. Pokemon battles come in so many different types, and while it's a shame we don't see many of these anymore, there might be a day we see them again. They're all such cool, fun, or just trippy concepts that spice up the way we play Pokemon, and they put our powers and abilities as Pokemon trainers up to the test. And honestly, I hope they become less rare in Pokemon games as time goes on, and I can't wait to see what type of Pokemon battles they think of next.